Good afternoon and welcome once again to the 2023 IHF Coaches and Referees Education Week. This is the last day of an exciting series of webinars where leading experts throughout the world of handball share their knowledge and experience in the past days. My name is Adrian Costeu. I'm a member of the IHF media team, and I will be your host today for two webinars, the last two webinars of the 2023 IHF Coaches and Referees Education Week. And to begin with, like in all past webinars, I will let you know that these sessions will be in English, and they are translated in French, Spanish, and Arabic. For this, you just need to go to the bottom of your Zoom app, click the interpretation icon, the globe icon there, and choose your preferred language. All these sessions fall under the umbrella of the IHF Education Center, which is available at ihfeducation.ihf.info. All of these webinars are being recorded and can be streamed again on demand there. The second to last webinar in the 2023 IHF Coaches and Referees Education Week will be presented by two former referees and current lecturers of the IHF, Angel Sabroso and Martin Jeding. Gentlemen, please start your presentation. It's offensive fouls versus 7 meters, so a referee's point of view for these actions. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let me start to introduce myself. My name is Martin Jeding. As you heard before, I'm a former IHF referee. Today, I'm a technical delegate both in Denmark and the European Federation and the International Federation. And as well, I'm making teaching material for the referees also in Denmark and also for the European Federation and also for the International Federation.
Hi, Martin. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Angel Sabroso, former IHF referee and now Technical Director of the Referees Committee of the Royal Spanish Handball Federation, and also lecturer in IHF and IHF. First of all, we want to thank the whole structure of the IHF for their invitation to participate in this important education week, and also for the fantastic work that you are doing during whole the week. Next, please. This is the agenda that we are going to develop in this presentation that we hope will help to improve together in this important and problematic aspect, offensive versus 7 meter. Next, please. This is the first point of the agenda. As everybody knows, in handball, the main battle is the fight for space, close spaces or get spaces, get the best space to shoot, the best space to pass, the space necessary to penetrate, or defend the space, closing gaps, arriving before your opponent, handling passes, shooting, recovering the ball. Let's see some remarks about this.
Yeah, we think it's very important that for the defender side, they're in the right position in a good time. We have, let's say, problem, but challenging that some things that if the defender are moving, we cannot have an attacker fault. But as long as we are moving sideways, it's possible to have an attacker fault. But if you're going forward, then it's not possible. And we will show you some examples of that in the next clip. And it's very important that we, if also where the first point of contact is, it's outside the goal area, inside the goal area. And if you, the first contact from the attacker with the defender is with the shoulder, then we always have an attacker fault. And we will also show some clips about that later.
Let's see the first clip. This is the first example that we're going to show you. This is a great example of a very good defense. First point of contact with the body, defense only with the body, just in front of the opponent, arriving without using his own goal area. This is a very good offensive fall. our offensive foul line is very important to control the game. Good offensive foul line avoid punishments. We need to know that. We must start to show this, our offensive foul line, immediately from the very beginning of the match, and keep a consistent line through whole the game. We can see there, only with the body, arriving outside the goal area. Fantastic offensive foul. Next one.
And here we can see something different from the defender side. You can see he was not in the right time like it was in the previous clip. So here he didn't have the body complete in front of the attacker. And then we have the next, let me say, challenging, because here we can see, if you have it once more, that the defender is lying in the goal area between the attacker and the goalkeeper. And here we think it should be a 7 meter, because the defender is inside the goal area between the attacker and the goalkeeper. And still, if you think it's not an attacker foul, because he cannot shoot wherever he wants, because the defender he's in the floor, and the attacker cannot shoot in the bottom of the goal. Next, please.
Okay, close the gap with the body or not. Two different possibilities. When the space is closed by two defenders using only their bodies, the key will be to determine if the attacker has managed to get past them or not. In this typical movement, we must see the attacker if he managed to get past them or not. The other typical situation is when the space is closed by a single defender in a 1-against-1. Here, the key is to be clear. First, that the defender is not moving forward, but his movement has been lateral, or he's already stopped in front of the attacker. And second, and very important, the contact of the attacker on the defender is in his torso, in his chest, in his body, and not in his side, which will mean that the defender has arrived late to close the space. The exactly contact in the body of the defender is a very important information for the referees. Let's see some clips.
And you'll have to look on the left back. And here you can see that the defender that couldn't make it in the time to go with the full body in the chest. So here we agree with the referee that this should be a 7 meter. And it's one of these situations where you can only speak about attacker foul or 7 meter. And when you see again from behind that he is not totally inside of his body, of the defender is not in the good position. So to underline, we agree with the 7 meter. And sometimes the referees here, they whistle a little bit too early at attacker foul because they think that it will be a 7 meter. But here the referees, they waited until see what really happened and gave a 7 meter.
Yeah, this was an example, two defenders trying to close the gap by them, and now we will see a 1-against-1 situation and a correct way to defend a counterattack. Please, go on. This is a fantastic example of a very correct defense on a counterattack, because counterattack can be defended well. The key is to be faster than your opponent. gain frontal position, frontal space, and defend him with just your body. Of course, all without encroaching on the goal area. It's a fantastic way to defend a counterattack. To be faster than the opponent. Offensive foul was the right decision in this clip. Next one, please.
Oh, sorry, Isma. Oh, it's you and me, Angel. I'm just okay. Sorry. To underline the very important thing is who had the position in the first, and that's really one of our main ideas. Who owned the space first? Who was in the right time? Not using goal area or with long steps or anything. And I think this is especially when we come to the wing situations later. That's one of the problems that we are not paying the different players all this effort that it should be so we can have the right decisions. And again, is he moving forward or he's moving sideways, and he's using the goal area. That's and when we are close to the 6 meter line, that will the last thing will be very important, and we'll also show some clip about that later. Next, please.
Is it yours or me, Martin? I can explain.
Yeah, I can explain. Here, the situation is it's clearly outside of the goal area, and here the referees, they wait until what happens in the end instead of what happened in the beginning. And here for us, it's a wrong 7 meter, and for us it again is an attacker fault, because if you're not allowed to be a defender like that, then it's very difficult.
This is a typical mistake, yeah?
Yes, and it's one of the big mistakes that the referees make. They wait until see the end instead of what is going on in the beginning.
Yeah. Next one. This is the same referee problem as the previous situation. Excellent defense, only with the body, frontal, and outside the area. Like referees, when we are arriving our position to goal referee, it's very important to maintain the focus on the complete movement of the players. To make the decision only with the end of the result probably mislead. This is probably to make a mistake like a referee decision, because we only see the end of the result of the situation. This is a fantastic way to defend. And it's very important to follow the situation from the beginning until the end. Of course, sometimes it's very difficult because it's a very fast play and it was in a counterattack. This example is a very good example for that. But we must try to focus on the whole movement of the defender.
I don't know if we should have some questions now, because now we have 2 topics out of the 5 we have.
There are no questions right now, so you can proceed to the next, and we will collect them and ask you at the end if needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. To decide if it's a attacker fall or 7 meter, it's very important because, and that's obvious, because if you give a wrong attacker fault instead of a 7 meter, then you take the ball away from the attacking team, and it's of course crucial. If you decide about a 9 meter where it should be a 7 meter, then the attacking team maybe could have a second chance to score, but they'll not have it if you give it a attacker fault. So that's why it's for everyone is clear that it's very important. And we have some criteria about that. Is a clear chance of scoring? Like we have here, did the attacker won the one-on-one situation, so they have an open space? Did the defender use the goal area to make the defense? Of course also the loss of body control, so you're not able to make a good shot. Or does the attacker main the body control, so it's a situation where we can play on. So this is all some criteria and some topics that we as a referee should take care of, so we are able to make the right decisions.
This is we made a very short discussion, Martin and me, about this clip. Martin,
yeah,
you can explain.
Yeah, I can explain, because this is of course it's a crucial. The score is 30-30 by 32 seconds to go, and if you look at it again and see the movement of number 29 using the goal area to go in the right position. So he used the goal area to go over and defend. So for us, it is a clear 7 meter, even though the people player, he touched the line. We still think that the most critical part is that the red number 29 is using the goal area to go in the position. And the problem here is that if you go a little bit further and stop it when you have the action.
This is a critical situation for referees, because it is a very good block by the pivot, and the way to avoid this blocking for the defender is using his own goal area. And if we see only the end of the situation, probably it's a good offensive foul, but we need to control the situation from the beginning.
Yeah, and we'll see, if you look again a little bit before this, you can see that the goal line referee, he was looking more at the in the situation at the back instead of what happens in the pivot area.
Yeah,
and this is also one of the reasons that we are speaking about to have 3 referees, because it's very difficult for the referees to look at 2 different burning points, and this could be one of the situations could have been solved by 3 referees.
The next example we can see now. Yeah. This is an example that sometimes we will sell a very cheap 7 meter throw. And we must think about is there a clear chance of scoring in this situation? It's clear a simple free throw and no 7 meter throw. Of course, never offensive, because the defender is arriving a little bit late and he's using his arms. He's not waiting for the contact with the body. But no 7 meter, no offensive foul, correct decision, free throw. Next one. Martin, you or me?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
And as we saw, in several times this clip, we have to underline what we say, that we should look from the beginning and what happens there, and not how it ends. Because also when they're attacking pivot, is making through the goal area to make the defense more flat. We also have to take care of that. But concerning the attacker fall and 7 meter, we have to be aware of these position winning or changing position for winning positions. And we also have to take care about when the pivots are using the foot or legs to avoid the defenders to go in the right position. And in model handball, we can, like Per Morten, he also told some days before, it is a point where we have to be a lot better to solve the problems.
Yeah, before to see the clips, the example, one important remark from our side. Everybody knows that Hollywood overreactions are critical to control the offensive foul line during the game. We need to control them from the very beginning of the match. But when we are speaking about pivots, it's also very important, because the overreaction in pivot situation comes from both sides. Defenders looking for the offensive foul, and also the attacker looking for the 7 meter through. We are going to see a couple of examples, and please think about this. Overreactions, Hollywood actions, very important in general with the offensive foul line, but in pivot situation, it's very, very important also. First clip, please.
And for us, it's our message is clear that this is the 7 meter because of the late defender is going through the goal area. But again, if you look at it, the goal line referee, he was looking more at the first contact out on there, and he didn't notice about the one who was entering the goal. Again, we should pay attention all the way. He was focused on the one in front there, and then number 3 he arrived late and into the goal area. So there it should be a normal 7 meter, and we have to adapt that. That this is a critical point, but again, it's difficult for the referees to look in 2 positions in the same time, and to have 2 minds, because I think that the goal line referee, he was really clear in his mind that it should be a 9 meter, but in the end it should be a 7 meter.
That's good. The next one, this is
because this we have to look through several times, because when we look through this, both our ideas was it was a attacker fault, because when the crash at the pivot happens, everyone was outside, and there we can say maybe there is a foot inside of the goal area. And if you look at the next slide, you can see that one of the pure defenders, he had a cup there. We have a picture where he had a foot totally inside the goal area. So here it was very, very good observed by the goal line referee, that we agree on the 7 meter, which we thought was a attacker fault, because it's just a small detail. So this is a very big challenging for the referees to see what the right solution should be.
And also we could see the overreactions during all the situations. Take care with this in pivot situations. We are going to speak about wing situations. Next, please. Okay, we have several problems in wing situations, and we try to give you some advices about this. The first question is the defender able to have the position before the attacker? Take care with the long step. We will speak about this in several clips. Is the attacker searching for the contact so they will have a 7 meters through? A lot of times also suspensions. We have a lot of problems about this because any kind of contact, a lot of times we are whistling 7 meters through plus 2 minutes like a machine. We will speak about this with some clips because not all times the responsibility of the contact is the defender. And of course, does the defender use the goal area to be in the position? These 3 questions, we thought that is very, very important to think about this. The first clip is a good example. We can see the direction of everyone. It seems like offensive foul. But when the defender arrives at a point, but do it using the goal area, is not possible offensive. We can see again, please, and look at the way of the defender. Everything was okay, except the way to arrive at this point. So it's not possible offensive. The correct decision is 7 meters through. Next one, please.
Oh, and here we have in the same game, we have 5 situations in the same wing position. And if you can see first all 5, you can see that the referees are in the same position in all 5 situations. And if something happened so many times during the same halftime, I think maybe the referee should think about the position, or maybe who is responsible for what, or this could also lead into to be prepared for the game. Because if something happened like this inside the same 30 minutes in the same game, then it's maybe a tactic thing from the defender, but it could also be a tactic from the attacker. And if you can look, if you go each situation one by one, you can see here that here the defender is using the goal area to go in the right position. There she go over to make a collision. So here it's a 7 meter where they called a first in foul. And the same here, she used the goal area to go And if you stop here again, if I was prepared for this game, I would like that the field referee was close to the coach or to the sideline instead of being in the middle of the field, because the goal line referee also normally she should take care about the pivot zone, but now she also needs to pay a lot of attention to the ring situation. So I recommend that the field referee should be closer to the sideline and closer to the game. So she also could be responsible to see if the defender is using the goal area, or to help the goal line referee to define if she's in the right position in the right time. Next situation. You can see there, she's moving outside, and then she got a 7 meter. There she's shooting all the way outside the goal area and need to be in the right place in the right time.
And you can see a long step, but this is not a foul for the defender, because some referees has this criteria a little bit bad. This is the way to arrive on a point, but it's perfect.
Yeah, and the long step we have in the next two situations. And you can see here, suddenly the coach, he agreed about it. It's a good referee by the referees. And here the defender arrived too late. That's what we can call a long step, because she didn't arrive in a good time. But she had a long step there, and then had the collision before she was in the right position like she was before. So here we agreed about the 2 minute suspensions and the 7 meter. And then the last one, there she also used the goal area was very late. So here we also agreed about the 7 meter and the 2 minutes suspensions. But this 5 clips from the same game, it shows how important it is that we are prepared for the game, and if something happens in the game, we as a referee, we should be able to change our mind, change our position, or change our strategy for the topics that is going on in the game.
Yeah. In the same line, one step more in these ideas, because sometimes we are whistling every kind of contacts like a 7 meter, and not always is 7 meter. In fact, a trend observed for the same seasons is that attacking wingers who go to the side clash of the defender who is already at a standstill. We can see in the next clip, please. We have to be very consistent and very focused on this. If the defender reaches a point before, arrives from outside the area, and remains in a still cylinder without legs apart, without putting knee, hip, hand, elbow, like a cylinder. Arrive before, arrive from outside the area, and remain like a cylinder. If he makes these 3 points, these 3 criteria, the contact is not responsibility from the defender. The contact is responsibility by the attacker.
and there we have to admit that we as a referees, we have been all too kind to the attacking players, that we nearly always gave 2-minute suspension and 7 meters for these kind of actions. So this is a point where we are changing something small in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Next one. Yeah. And this is a nice clip with a lot of teaching materials inside one clip. First, here attacker who tries to get in the good position for attacker fall with no success. And I would also say that he is making he's making overreactions, because there's no reason why to fall back in this way for this contact. And because of there was no attacker fault, and the defender have to jump over, the attacker have to jump over the defender. We agree about the 7 meter. And because there was no 7 meter, we don't have to give a 2-minute suspension for the attacker who is shooting in the head of the goalkeeper. So here, you can see here, he is not in the position, and he was always falling a little bit back before the contact. And then the blue team just deliver the ball to the wing player and make a shot. So a really good example of a lot of things. First, not making an attacker fall, about provocation, and you can see it's in the last minute. So for me, we could easily give a 2-minute suspension. I don't know how the simulations have been in this game, and then make the right decision about the 7 meter. So a very, very good example from the referee side, with a lot of very difficult situations to solve. Yes.
And now we want to show you like a summary, several points.
Yeah. If you go next, yeah. First is fighting for the space. As Angel he said earlier, it's very important that the torso is of the body is in front. So we have the collision body against body, then we have an attacker fault. And then we have, like we also said earlier, it's okay to move sidewards. We can still have an attacker fault when we are moving sidewards. First, contact with the body. And then it's very important to see if it's with the body, with the elbow, or with the shoulder. With the body, it's okay. It's not okay with the elbow, the shoulder, or something like that. And we also the consequence of the contact, like we saw in the first in the last clip, where both are falling, or if it's only one defender is falling or the attacker is falling, then you can decide in which direction we should make our decision. And then also who has won the one-on-one situation, because if you have won the one-on-one situation before the steps, then he has a clear chance of scoring. Then we should also pay attention to make an effort to pay the attacker in a good way. And situation on the 6 meter line, like we said before, be aware of the defenders that use in the goal area. A lot of defenders are doing this by purpose. And like Angel said, we have to do it from the beginning in the game. So we give them a possibility to go out of the goal area. And if they still continue to use it, then we can punish them progressively. First starting with a yellow card or verbal warning, and then later a 2-minute suspension. But we should also pay attention to the attackers who are using the goal area line for tactical reason. Because it's, like also mentioned, it also makes the defense more flat and cannot be, so they're not able to go forward to make a block on the shooting players. And if something is wrong, we should not wait as a referee. We should react immediately unless we have a clear advertised situation. Because if you react immediately, then we have what shall we call it? We have we can solve the problem before it happens. And then it's very important that we should look how it was in the beginning and not how it is in the end. And we have underlined that by several clips in the presentation here. Next one. Deciding on 7 meter or not, again, like we said before, look how it is, how it was, and not how it ends. Is there an effect? Like one of the last clips Angel showed, where you have a big collision, it was a clear attacker fault, but we could also have a situation where they just touch each other and it should be like play on. But our main idea is that we should also be allowed to be a defender if they do it in the right way. And then is a clear chance of scoring or not? We also have to take that in consideration. About the pivot and wing situations, position of the referee, like we saw in the clip with the five clips, 5 situations in one clip. We have to include the field referee more, because they can also see if there is a push from on the sideway in this sideway he is positioned as a field referee. Then it could be very difficult for the goal line referee to see what really happens. And then if something happens more, then we should change our position and also change the rhythm on the way we are reacting. Because we should not be like 5 minutes in each position. Maybe we should more move how the game is going on. So we change in that way. And then we should allow the defenders to do their job and give them ball when they deserve it. When we're speaking about pivot situation, I would guess that maybe 95% of decisions are calling in favor of the attackers. And I think maybe we should pay a little bit more attention to the defender. And I'm quite sure that Per Morten, he also have mentioned that in the presentation he had some days ago.
And also remember, in pivot situation, take care with the overreactions from both sides. And in wing situations, don't whistle like a robot, like a mechanical system. Observe which kind of contact and who arrives before, if the defender arrives from outside, and if the defender maintain the body like a cylinder, the contact is responsibility of the attacker. And then
yeah, it was our last comment about in this presentation.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a very interesting presentation. We have some questions for you, and you decide who answers. First of all, many people were asking about the point of contact. How difficult is it for a referee to decide when the point of contact happens and to award either an offensive foul or a 7-meter throw? How difficult is it for a referee?
Probably is one of the most difficult decision for the referees. Our advice is when the defender is moving lateral from sides, it's very important to observe the part of the body that receives the impact. If the body is moving lateral, okay, and the attacker contact in the chest of the defender was fantastic in this situation. But if the contact is in the side of the defender was trying to get the position, but is arriving a little bit late. So it's not possible offensive. This is very important. When the movement of the defenders are from sides, okay? When the defender is moving forward, it's not possible offensive. And also, when the defender is waiting for the contact with the shoulder, it's not possible offensive. Martin.
Yeah, it's also like the player. If a really good referee is also able to recognize what maybe could go on in the next second, that means if he has his eye 1 meter in front of the ball, then he is able to see if the defender is in a good position or if it's in a bad position, and there have his mind clear about what could happen in the next 1.5 seconds. So
and please, Martin.
Yeah, and that's is what the really good referees, they're able to do that before the real thing happens. So, like I also underlined, we should pay attention all the way onto the situation, so we not just have to make idea when the situation is happening.
Another question, it refers to the Hollywood actions, like you've told them. From your time as referees and now as experts, did you see more such actions in the past years in handball?
Yes, I think that we had a lot of problems several years ago, and we started to control these situations and to punish these situations. My feeling is that the last 2 seasons, everyone is more calm, and now the defense are trying to get the space. Sometimes they obtain the space, sometimes no. But theater, Hollywood, and overreactions are a little bit down. This is my feeling. The best advice about this is to control from the very beginning, to give clear information from everyone for both teams, to avoid this behavior, advices with the body language, with communications, and also, of course, using the punishments. And very important is to give exactly the same treatment, the same line, the same decisions for both teams during whole the game.
And in my opinion, especially in men's game, we have changed the players, the modern players today. They are smaller than they were when Oscar and I, we were refereeing, because at that time, a normal right back or playmaker or left back, he was over 2 meters and was shooting from 9 meters. The modern male players, they are running very fast and create a lot of one-on-one situations and making it so difficult to referee the right way in a 7-meter or step situations. And I think we could make a 3-hour seminar about this topic, but this is a very big problem especially in men's handball today, because it has changed a lot in the last couple of years.
And one last question. You've talked in your presentation about offensive fouls and penalties, but what are the situations in fast breaks? How difficult is it when there is a counterattack to see if there is an offensive foul or a foul by the defender? Because there are also these types of situations.
Well, in a counterattack, from my side, the message is clear. Message for the defenders: don't touch the attacker except if you are faster than him, because the only way to defend a counterattack is being faster than the opponent, obtain the position in front of the opponent, and to control them in front of the attacker. And to do this in a counterattack is very difficult. You can do it, but it's very difficult. If you are from side, if you are from behind, don't touch the opponent. And the advice for the referees is a counterattack is one of the most important situations in our sport. And we have a fantastic sport, tough sport, but very clean sport and fast and emotional sport. And counterattack, we must to protect the counterattacks. And the only way to defend correctly a counterattack is being faster than the opponent. If the defender decides to touch the attacker from side or from behind, take care, red lights on. We must to make the decision according to the situation.
Yeah, like Angel said, it's we have a clear rule when you are from behind. Don't even think about to touch or push or something because this is critical. But also from the referee side, to make a good decision, we always said that we take the best decisions when we're not running. That means we have to run until we take the decision. And that time we should be placed in a good position so we can take the right decisions. And if you saw some of the clips that we showed you, that some of the wrong 7 meters were given in the fast breaks, the referees were running while they make the decision about the 7 meter. So it's a clear advice that when you make decisions, don't move too much.
Martin, Angel, thank you very much for this webinar and for your presentation. It's been enlightening. The last webinar of the 2023 IHF Coaches and Referees Education Week will take place at 15 CEST with Johan Bepler. So tune in. For now, thank you both. Goodbye.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye.